I've had a very, very busy day today, catching up with all my work after the new year. Apparently, I've had another hit piece put out about me and about promissory notes, which I find every time someone does a hit piece all about me, promissory notes, and it's like free, unpaid staff promoting my work. I'm inundated with requests. They're intrigued about my work, and I know I'm going to be again now. I've not watched all of it. I watched bits of it. Someone sent me and told, someone's summed it up for me. I've been too busy to watch it. But anyway, I'll probably watch it all later. And I like it that this sort of thing is getting people asking questions. So Dave Silver says that these banknotes are not legitimate money. They're just IOUs. What are they IOUing? What are they promising? How will that promise be fulfilled? I promised to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £5 sterling. What is that promise? How will that promise be fulfilled? And I like that this gets people thinking about that, because people like me, they're so busy. You're so busy with your lives. Am I right, or is this group correct? Mind of steel? No, that is £5. That is legitimate money. And I don't know how they answer that question. I have a few people I've spoke to. There's some people in that group are very level-headed, and I'd say very intelligent and quite smart, and I enjoy talking to them. Some of them are very childish, very crude, and swearing, and I'm not gonna talk to people like that. But the ones who are quite smart, yeah, we did have this conversation. How will that promise be fulfilled on all the 5s, 10s, 20s and 50s? I promised to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £20. How will that be fulfilled? Some answer it doesn't need to be fulfilled. It's a stupid question. Doesn't need to be fulfilled. Okay, don't want to talk about it. All right. Others who are intrigued by that, how will that promise be fulfilled? Why it's so intriguing? Because the promissory notes that we write, they say I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of this much in the same like manner and form as would be the Bank of England and the accompanying £5 note. So however that question is answered is critical. We need to understand that. You need to, before you use my method. My method is the simplest. It's so simple. You're writing a promise. Is it a broken promise? Well, it depends. We are going to honour it in the same way that Sarah John, Chief Cashier of the Bank of England, will honour all of her promissory notes. So however she honours it, we will honour it the same way. It's not a broken promise yet. And I'm sticking to that. I will honour it in the same way. And I'm sure, I'm absolutely certain of this, you know. There's no way that they can get that much silver. There's no way. If the reason Richard Vobes took one of my interviews down, but me and Richard are good friends, and we've had lots of talks since then, and I love what he's doing on the land. I don't know why everyone gives him a hard time when he's doing such an amazing thing on the land. I'm doing a similar project. But I think people are jealous, and I don't know what the reason is. But anyway, the reason he took that video down, he was worried that you're making this promise. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of this much £pounds sterling in the same like manner and form as would be the Bank of England. Now, what if the Bank of England could come up with that much silver to back all of their promissory notes with? Then you would have to, yes, you would have to come up with that much silver. You better start stacking silver now. You better start getting some kilo bars in. But I give everyone a personal guarantee. The Bank of England cannot fulfill all their promissory notes, both paper and digital, of which there are trillions now in supply, and it is expanding. They cannot get that much silver because there's not that much silver ever been mined in all of history. Only 60 billion ounces of silver has ever been mined in all of history, and only 2% of that is left in available supply. The rest has all been used up on landfill and blown up and used in nuclear control rods. There's no way. That's why Richard took down the video. He was worried the Bank of England might be able to honour their promises with silver. They cannot. They absolutely cannot. I give a personal guarantee they cannot. So how will they honour that promise? You've got to honour yours in the same way. Some have said the promise is on all their promissory notes and Sarah John signs each one, because if it's crumpled and a bit old, you can bring it to the bank and they give you a new one. Okay, if that is the system, we will do the same. You can bring the promissory note back, I'll write you a nice brand new one. What's some other answers they say? They say, well, the promise is fulfilled every time it exchanges hands. That fulfills the promise. I promise to pay the bearer on demand sum of £5. I've given you £5. Okay, if that is the system, then that what applies to one applies to the other. If that is a system, that is not really made clear in the Bills of Exchange Act or anything since then. The Bills of Exchange Act has not been repealed. Now, there's been a lot of legislation and things since then, fine, but does it change anything? No. We've got clearly laid out what are the requirements of cash. It's got to have the unconditional promise, it's got to have the amount in words and in numbers, and it's got to have a signature. That is cash. And I'm saying cash is trash. Cash is a broken promise. And to make this point, Sarah John, who signs all the promissory notes of the Bank of England, was once asked the question. She was in the vault with all the gold, so much gold, all the silver's gone, it's all been used up, only the gold is left. Gold is in surplus, silver's in deficit. So all the silver's been used up, but the gold is in surplus, overflowing. It's going to park up here. She was asked the question, why does the Bank of England have to hold so much gold? Her answer to that question was, well, gold's been used as money for a long time. And what people found was gold is heavy and cumbersome. And then what they would do, they'd bring their gold to the goldsmith, the cunning men, the bankers back then, and they would issue them with an IOU, a promissory note. And people found that this promissory note is more convenient to use, and in time they use these banknotes as the medium of exchange. And then, what's the guy's name? Idris Elba, the Hollywood actor, he says, see that right there? That's Sarah John's signature. She signs a promissory note. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £20. It's just an IOU. Watch this clip.
It turned into, okay, the bank needs to hold this much gold. What was the process? Like, take me back.
So obviously gold's been used for quite a number of years as a form of money. First of all, gold coins themselves. But the problem with gold coins is they're actually quite heavy to carry around.
Can't flip it, no.
Exactly. So what people started to do was they would take their gold coins to a goldsmith, and the goldsmith would issue them with an IOU.
Okay.
And over time, people realised that actually using those IOUs to pay for goods and services was actually easier than actually going and getting the gold and lugging it around.
Okay.
And those IOUs eventually developed into what we now know as banknotes.
That's fascinating, isn't it? See this? Just there? That's Sarah's signature, with the words, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £20. It's just an IOU.